Family, as far as our biological family goes and our faith families go, okay? Family is where you come from. And parents, it's a life-changing experience. So many people told me that the day they became a parent, their life changed. I once was doing a retreat at a church, and they had in another part of the building a communion parents meeting. And there was a young mom walking on the sidewalk outside my window, and I noticed her, and she had this pile of papers that they'd given her, and she was looking down on them, and she was walking, and she had this very determined look, and she's like, I got to get this right. It was right there in her face. It's like, I got to do this good. I got to get this right. And she looked so concerned and worried, I wanted to throw open the window and just yell out, hey, lady, you're doing fine. Don't worry about it. Every parent wants to get it right. It's the most serious responsibility you get in your whole life, okay, to be a guide of young souls on their way home to heaven. And so parents are the anchor of the family. The parents, the love for each other, the love for their children, the creating of a loving environment. Some people live in a culture where the society has a good amount of love in it, and some have places that are godless. Some people have horrific conditions of living. But no matter what the society is doing, okay, the family can be the place where that's where God can live, and the love can be there. It's an anchor for everybody. Family, your biological family, there's the old argument of like, what determines how you turn out? Is it your environment, or is it your genes? Is it what you inherited, or what you saw lived like all around you and behind you and on the side of you? And actually, I think it's both. Okay, we are affected by what we see lived around us, plus what we've inherited of the decisions of generations before us. Ultimately, it's both, and it's neither, because your soul is infinitely more powerful and important in the mix of all this. But anyway, the biological family shapes you. I'm the oldest of 9 kids. And you know what? My parents sacrificed for us. My father, a factory worker, worked morning, noon, and night, never complained. My mother raised all 9 children by herself and never complained. And their ability to sacrifice themselves for the good of their children, for their family, taught all of us. I have 8 siblings. Not one of them is selfish. Not one of them only thinks of themselves as they go through life. And that's pretty remarkable. But we learned it. We absorbed it. It was lived around us. Family. And we also have similar things. Families where, whether you have foot problems or you have diet problems, your allergy problems. These are the things you also kind of inherit from your family. And a family that has faith is an anchor for the soul. And that's the most beautiful, important thing a family can offer, is that side. It's the place where we love. There's a great scene in a movie called Marvin's Room. If you get a chance, see it. It's got 2 of the finest female actresses there ever was, Diane Keaton and Meryl Streep. And if you like heartthrobs, Leonardo DiCaprio plays the son, okay? And Robert De Niro plays the doctor. So it's got everybody. Marvin's Room is about this guy named Marvin who has a room. Actually, Marvin's hardly in it, but it's Marvin's house, and these are his daughters. One daughter, played by Diane Keaton, was faithful. She took care of him. The mother, when she was still alive and she had gotten sick, she stayed home and took care of everybody. And the other sister, Meryl Streep, was the wild one. She got the heck out as soon as she could. So, in the movie, Meryl Streep comes back home with her son. The reason is because Diane Keaton's sister, okay, that character, she's dying of cancer. She needs a bone marrow transplant, and they're hoping that somebody blood related will be able to help her, will have a match. And so they've come back to see if they can match. And basically there's a scene that is kind of unforgettable, for me anyway, where Diane Keaton gets the call from the doctor that the match isn't working. There is no match. And basically, it's a death sentence. She's just gotten the call that there's nobody and she's going to die. And what happens is that she accidentally spills the pills on the floor. And the 2 sisters are picking up all the pills for Marvin. And she looks her sister in the eye. The sister with cancer looks the other sister in the eye and says, I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. I've had so much love. And Meryl Streep says, yeah, they love you a lot. She says, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm so blessed because I have loved them. I've had so much love in my life. Are you strong enough like that? Could you face your own demise, your own time on earth coming to an end, and be able to feel like I've been so blessed because I have been able to love so much? And family is that first place where we're supposed to love. You learn how to love there, and those are the people that God's put in your life, hey, to torment you, okay? But also for you to love them. Not just take from them. Yes, when you're little, that's all you do is take from your family. Mommy and daddy provide everything. But as we grow up, it's a place where we can give as well. And nobody's talking about monumental gestures here. I recently did a retreat at a church out on Long Island. It was my grandparents' parish. Okay? They never went to church. I think the only day my grandma or grandpa was ever in that church was their funeral mass. Okay? But it turned out a lot of people in that church knew my grandpa. And you know why they knew my grandpa? Not from church, but because he was the fruit and vegetable guy at the local supermarket. And they knew him because he made an impression. And they said, well, what was memorable about my grandpa? And they were like, well, first of all, he didn't care about the supermarket chain. He would always let us know, okay, those have been sitting around forever. Don't even bother with them. These just came in. Check these out. Stay away from that. This is good, whatever. He always gave them tips on, the best stuff. Second, he was always quick with a joke. And another thing that made all of them kind of remember him was that he was this little old man who would cross the big street opposite the supermarket to head home and never look both ways. And these people, they would be praying please, Lord, don't let anything happen to that little old man. And so I realized something that week about me and my grandpa. I'm just like him. I don't work at a fruit and vegetable department, but I think the way I live my life, I'm hopefully be able to, through these Godshots included, be able to give people some tips on how to have a better life. I try and be quick with a joke whenever I can, and hopefully I inspire you to pray. So it runs in the family, okay? In natural ways, things that we inherit, a sense of humor, a particular talent regarding music or art, or even, and sometimes it can be mixed up within a family. My father had incredible eye-hand coordination. Okay, most of my siblings have that. I didn't get a bit of it. Okay, so sometimes things get passed on to some, but not others. The sense of humor. Me and a couple of my family members have that a little bit more than some of the others do, but we all have it. Okay, so love your family, and if your family is a cause of pain because of some dysfunction, see if you can get counseling for that. There's really good family counselors out there. It's never too late to try and heal a family dynamic that isn't working right, okay? And just be hungry to love those that might be really hard to love. And sometimes they could be right in your own family, okay? Pray for each other. Pray with your family if you can. One of the things that meant the most to my dad before he died was that his family was gathered around him at the hospital, and we got to pray the rosary together with him. That was his favorite way of praying, and it meant the world to him. Forgive your family if they're not able to love you the way you need, and let God love you that way. That's the theme of another Godshot video, I think. Okay? Been good talking to you about your family and everything, about my family, and you can start thinking about your family and how you can spread more love to them. Remember, as a member of God's family, it's not complicated. Okay? The church, God, faith communities are supposed to be places where we love each other at the foundation. Everything else is extra. Now, that's the foundation. If we live like that, people will be going to church in droves instead of running away in waves. Okay? So it was a blessing to be with you. And God is good all the time.